Welcome back, pod people, to a brand new episode of Cinema d'Amore. I'm one of your hosts, Justin Morgan, and I'm here with
Chuck.
That's Chuck Phillips. I wanted to talk about one battle after another. I want to do a Paul Thomas Anderson rewatch, even though I didn't go back to the farthest. So I decided this episode should be Boogie Nights 1997, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yep. When we did Unforgiven last year, you said this would be a good companion to that. Character's named Little Bill.
Yeah.
It would have fit in.
I think as far as characters go, this movie, I enjoy almost all these characters. Maybe it's the actors. It's such a good cast, ensemble cast. 1970s porn industry. I don't really know if it's technically the height of the porn industry, but it takes place over a couple years. And it's definitely the rise and fall of people that were in their prime in 1977 before the VHS era happened.
When you still had to go to a theater to watch porn.
The one thing I like the most about it is how all the characters are very professional about most of their stuff. Jack Horner, played by Burt Reynolds, characters, like, he has this dream that he will have such a good story in his film that they will not leave the theater. They will want to know how the story ends. He has this, like, endearing idea.
Wants to make real art.
He does see himself as an artist, and he's definitely professional. So when we get into that VHS era, he's like, they're just videotaping it? These amateurs? They don't have the lights, they don't have anything. I don't know. I think the beginning of this movie, you could maybe think that they were just like a regular film crew. I don't know. I've never went in blind. I've kind of always known what it was about, but it feels that way. Some of the scenes are like awkward because they're not conversations that you're going to ever have. Particularly like when he's like cornering Ed, played by Mark Wahlberg, in the dishwasher room, like being like, you're handsome and how old are you? And he's like, oh, I was 17. It's like, oh man, you're gonna go places, boy. He has to have that eye for whoever the next talent is. It's a little creepy in those moments. And we do have so many interesting outcomes, I feel like, because even though Ed, who becomes Dirk Diggler, he's obviously the main character of it, but we spend enough time with other characters that we spend some alone time with Don Cheadle's character, like a lot actually. And we get some
stereos with his country western music. I was like, come on, why can't you be like the rest of the brothers out there? On that country western shit, and no one wants to buy a stereo.
And just like a sleazy manager, like, oh, I knew you were gonna bring the pussy in here, and you did, but you're not really selling enough. What's his name? Luis de Guzman, right?
Yeah, he's got all of his favorites here: Louis Guzman, Philip Seymour Hoffman, John C. Reilly.
Yeah,
all these guys that he loves working with. John C. Reilly's like, I love him in this movie because he's such a goofball. This feels like a precursor to Step Brothers, like the way him and Dirk Diggler like hang out. Like it feels like he's playing his character, and Dirk Diggler's like the Will Ferrell character of like they just meet each other and are like instantly best friends. Like both trying to be like, how much do you bench press? How much do you squat?
And then when they're swimming and they're doing their dives, and he's like, that let me show you how to do that. That's such a Step
Brothers fails thing. Miserably, like just flops right on his back. Like, you got to get your legs all the way around. I know.
Like, let me show you how to do that. Like that's totally, you're right. The Step Brother vibes.
And the fact that he's a magician and he does like goofy party tricks throughout the movie. You constantly see him like doing little tricks for everybody all the time.
Yeah, and he's a big one too. He's the actor that doesn't have to worry about losing his job to the next best thing because he's like the everyday.
He's the B guy in all the movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you don't see it here, I guess, in this movie, but Paul Thomas Anderson is very fixed with the 1970s, especially in California for some reason. That's his go-to for several movies. And the waterbeds. His love for waterbeds.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that until you just mentioned it. Like, I know they bring it up in this movie, but I forgot about Licorice Pizza. He loves, I do just really enjoy the way he shoots this movie. Is they're just all these giant long takes in most of the scenes. Huge chunks of the movie are just these parties that the camera's moving throughout the party constantly. just going from room to room, and you get these characters, and they're in certain areas, then they're moved on to a different place, but it's still all just feels like one giant continuous shot. Even when there are cuts and edits in the parties, it still just has that feeling of just being one long extended thing.
I mean, and he does have beautiful long extended shots in there. I feel like he's mocking, or like maybe he's not mocking, maybe he's really loves it. But the scene where they're finally filming Dirk Diggler's first scene, they just do those like Spielberg reaction shots almost to every character seeing him for the first time. It's like the exact same reaction shots if you were to watch Jurassic Park when they see dinosaurs for the first time. It's just sort of this like, oh my God.
Yeah, he's the best. And he starts coming up with his own characters.
He does his own blocking.
It makes me think of the video for Sabotage when they do like the intro for their movie, and it's like the Brocklanders and Chest Rockwell, which are like the most ridiculous names ever. Names are great too. I do really love. He only does it really the one time. Like there's no real fantastical elements in the movie, but he does film the cutaway of when he says like, I see this name in my mind, and it's blue neon with purple neon around it and stars, and everything explodes into fire. And he just films that insert of literally what he's describing. That's the greatest name of all time.
His whole character of obviously very young, and his mom, I don't know why his mom hates him so much. She's
never really established that. She's like, you're just a moron. You're too stupid to know how stupid you are.
The littlest bit I do pick up on is that she just doesn't like the girls that he's with. Maybe there's a jealousy, like a mom jealousy thing or something. But yeah, that scene's so ridiculous though when she's tearing his stuff down out of his room. He's like crying. Don't wear my posters, Mom. You don't know what I can do. I got special talents, and you don't know about it. I'm going to show it to the world. And and the dad's just like, they do that shot of the dad. He won't speak up for his kid ever on the bed, just pondering, like listening to what this fight going on. I do like the beginning when they're showing his bedroom and all his posters and stuff. They're kind of like, I would say, foreshadowing like a lot of things that we're going to see later. Like we obviously see the Corvette. He gets that exact Corvette. All his kung fu stuff. He has like when he gets his place, and he's got his kung fu master bedroom. He's like, oh yeah, I got the whole Asian thing going in here. Like, and when he's showing it to Julianne Moore, and she's like, oh, I really like this. This is so great. I love this place so much. So I kind of like that little bit of like, I don't know necessarily what to say. And I don't want to say it's his personality. It's obviously the things he likes.
It's like it's mostly just, I feel like showing that like even as he keeps growing up, like he still has the mentality of like a 16-year-old kid that's just into like cards and kung fu movies.
Doesn't really have the time to grow up.
Yeah, I mean, you see later, it's like I think he finally Burt Reynolds, Jack Horner's character, is like the dad that he wishes he had, that would like actually like stand up for him and take care of him.
The Julianne Moore stuff's kind of weird too, where she's like, I love him. He was like a son to me. And it's like, well, it's an interesting relationship for somebody you slept with. But
I mean, you did, yeah. Well, also because she lost her son because she was doing drugs and
yeah, I think that's like the number one thing that falls onto these characters towards the end of the movie. That's like, well, the business was good and lucrative and working out for these people. They like the social norms and stuff have like tainted what they're able to do afterwards. So yeah, she can't get she like loses custody of her son. Don Cheadle's character can't get his loan for his radio store.
Everything. It's a great. The way he films it and sets everything up to like the structure of it. It is almost exactly halfway through when it switches to the 80s, which the moment that happens is they're having their big New Year's Eve party, and we finally get to the end of the running bit of William H. Macy's Little Bill character that like every time he goes home or is like he's like, has anyone seen my wife? Has anyone seen my wife? And it's always his wife sleeping with another guy, and they're always like, get out of here, Little Bill. I even love the one guy's like, yeah, shut up, Little Bill.
She's never filming a scene. It's always
it's always just random. Yeah. So yeah, when they finally go to the party, the big New Year's Eve party, and he's finally just like, well, I'm gonna have to kill her now. Goes out and gets his gun from his car, and finally shoots her. And then that is when everything turns dark, and the editing style is completely different because all of the scenes start getting faster. There's a lot more cuts. There's less like flowing single shot takes. Everything just like starts feeling like really chopped up once it gets to the 80s section.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That is the transition. That's where the fun ends.
Yeah.
And it's also another good like little side story of this person thought that he could handle this relationship with his porn star wife, and he couldn't. So that laid heavily on him to the point where like he emotionally couldn't put up with that. He couldn't put up with the disrespect, and so that was like maybe the most violent outcome personally. I mean, there's violence. There's still a lot of violence moments in the second half, or I guess just sad moments too. Like even when they eventually start doing drugs. Dirk's
Well,
doing
they were
like,
already doing drugs, but
well,
they were doing more drugs.
they were doing worse shit, I guess.
They were doing a lot more. Yeah, but there are like great. He still puts like these really great kind of like montage moments together. Of I love when Todd keeps coming back with drugs, Thomas Bane's character, and it starts with like, "Ah man, you got those drugs. Ah man, come on, let's get those drugs." And the last one's like, "What the hell's taking you so long to get those drugs?" It just keeps like
Yeah,
escalating so fast.
that's them
Like, come
getting
on, man, why
addicted
is it
to
taking you so
meth.
long to get those drugs? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's taking you way too long.
you don't
Gotta get those
snort
drugs
that
here
like
now.
cocaine. You just need a little bit. That's gonna kill you. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. It almost feels like a bunch of short stories, more so towards when you get towards the end.
Yeah, they're all a lot more separated, which again is a constant theme that this is like they were a family in the beginning. They're all very, and you get that at the end. When everything wraps up at the end, that they're a very chosen family. They're all kind of outcasts in their own worlds. Yeah, Julianne Moore lost her son, so she kind of looks at Dirk and Roller Girl as like those are her kids that she takes care of, and Don
Even
Cheadle has his relationship that he like loses, but then starts dating that other girl, and they get together. But that yeah, everything's like they're all broken up in the 80s. They're all doing their own things separately.
the fucking 80s take them down. Yeah, and there's so
Yeah,
many scenes. Like I hate that scene with Roller Girl in the limo where they're doing like we're picking up a stranger, and the guy
man.
they get ends up being that like dickhead from her high school, and like it just makes it so much more horrific and awful. And then there's that scene too where like they have that producer, the Colonel, and he goes to jail. This is probably the best, the like leads into the better scenes because he's revealed to be a pedophile and has child pornography, and his outcome is he goes to jail and they fucking beat the shit out of him every
The guy's
day.
like, "Shut up, Colonel."
Yeah, and like I do like the way that that little tiny bit of story at the jail unfolds between him and Jack Horner, where he's like, I couldn't tell. You could tell that Jack Horner's character it already is like bullshit. Like, I don't believe that. He just kind of goes with it, and he's like, yeah, it could happen. And then he's like, oh, anyways, it wasn't even that. They found a bunch of stuff at my house, Jack, and it's just so creepy. But yeah, there's justice there, which there's really not justice for almost any other scenario in this entire movie. I mean, you don't really see the scenario this guy's talking about. It's just this tiny little thing that Paul Thomas Anderson put into his movie that basically says, like, I care about these people, but not if there's somebody in there like this. Like the crew that I like to follow, my family that I'm following are generally good people. I think that's kind of what makes the movie so good. It is. I didn't think about it till maybe you said it, but the family moments where it's just them together bonding, holding each other in high regards, kind of like boosting everybody's self-esteem. Oh, you're so good at this and you're so good at that. And then you get a lot of the like really fucking like there's a lot of really fucking funny moments in there. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman where he tries to kiss Dirk and he's like, crying in his car, like, you're such a fucking idiot. And it goes on for so fucking like goes on for too long.
Which I feel like that's something like you knew immediately. Like you could tell that character is supposed to be gay. Like as soon as he like is introduced, it's like he's always like, oh my god, Dirk, you're so handsome. Dirk, you're like the most handsome guy I've ever met. And it's like the audience knows you're like that guy's definitely gay, but he probably just like doesn't say anything to anybody because he doesn't want to be made fun of.
Reed, why don't you introduce me to your friend?
Yeah.
But he's not a bad character either. Like he's not.
No.
Like he's part of that family, and he's also very caring, and like he does care about those people. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and then there's like, I guess that's also like the fine line between it, because like if you look at the homosexual aspect of it with Burt Reynolds' character, it's very professional. It's like, I see your skills, I see your talent. It's gonna make my movies better. He has like that businessman approach to it. And then you get to, I don't even know what the hell is the name of I want to call him Jimmy. What's the name of Philip Seymour Hoffman's character?
Scotty.
Scotty's like more open about it and feels safe for the most part. And then you do get that little bit, towards the end where Dirk's just like, he needs the money. And he lets that guy like pick him up, and he's like, "All right, I guess I'll do whatever, just $20." And that's just some guy that wants to beat the shit, like commit hate crimes with his buddies. So like, yeah, that's like the it's like basically Paul Thomas Anderson has a lot to say about a lot of things, and he was able to shove it into this movie. And like, yeah, in that instance too, like we've been with Dirk for how long? We know that he's just trying to survive. He's really not doing anything that's harmful to anybody. And then he gets the shit kicked out of him. At the same time, who else is getting the shit kicked out of? Is it during a movie?
The same scene with Roller Girl. Where they're beating up the guy in the limo. It's like it keeps cutting back and forth.
Yes. That's another moment that's actually really good, because he is, when that guy gets out and he, basically calls Jack Horner a piece of shit, or so, like, that he's over. And then, Burt Reynolds just starts beating the shit out.
Yeah, he gets more mad when he's like, by the way, your movies suck now.
Yeah. Yeah, just pisses him off so much. But
then like the big climactic scene that's great when they go to rip off Alfred Molina for drugs. It's such a fun random scene of, you just love him like he has a guy in the background throwing firecrackers. He's got like his giant security guard with him. They're just like, it's cool. We'll just give him some baking powder and say it's drugs and get our money.
Yeah, it's a very tense scene too, because like the minute that gate locks behind them, I mean, I guess I don't really know if there's a locking sound, but when the gate shuts, because he's like makes the choice to show the shot of the gate shutting that's not quick. And then they're all there on the couch, and Alfred Molina like already seems like high, like insane person. But yeah, everyone, like his bodyguard's real serious, and then his little Chinese friend or whatever who's just doing the firecrackers is like there to keep making it real like unsettling, because like there's guns. We know there's at least one gun. Then Alfred Molina pulls out his gun. So like there's firearms, and then we hear this firecracker going off constantly. And yeah, his bodyguard takes the baking soda mixture. Thomas Jane's the only character that's like, I don't even understand like 100% why he's wants to wait for so long, but everyone else is like, let's get the fuck out of here.
I think he's like trying to like think of his plan. Like he's trying to think of how to how to do it, how to get extra money.
Oh yeah,
The best part in that
You're
whole
right.
thing
He was
is,
sitting there he was trying to rob him even more, and they're like,
yeah,
no, no, man. Like our
the best
first
thing's
plan's not.
how loud everything is with like the firecrackers, and he's blasting his tape, which I love him talking about. It makes you think of American Psycho. He's like this is my mixtape. I like these bands, they put songs on their album, want you to listen to it in their order. I don't want to do that. That's lame. He's like just talking about like how he loves making mixtapes. But I love how you start to like not even realize how loud it is until the tape stops to rewind and it gets dead silent. He's like everyone's like, oh, it's like real awkward for a few seconds while they're waiting.
Also, that scene and like a lot of the party scenes, like obviously the soundtrack is a lot of very popular songs from the time, but you'll have one scene that has like 3 or 4 songs.
But yeah.
And so like he really gets to go through this is Thomas Anderson's mixtape that we're listening to this entire movie. But yeah, where it stops and he's got to take it out and swap it. But yeah, it's a super tense scene, and yeah, they try to immediately be like, well, whatever Thomas Jane's doing, we're not we're not a part of that. No.
I also did think, I'm like, is this I didn't even maybe ever notice before, is this what James Gunn references? Because his tape says "My Awesome Mix" on it, and
Yeah,
that's what Star Lord's things are always like. Star Lord's awesome mixtape.
it
I'm
might
like,
be.
did he take that specifically from Boogie Nights? Because I can't think of any other place that would have had someone that has mixtapes of music that's in those movies as well. It's all from the '70s, and like he has, I think it's like "My Awesome Mixtape."
Well, yeah, Fold Around and Fell in Love, like that. That
Yeah,
is
there's a
in
few songs that
Guardians and in Boogie Nights. So
he has Electric Light Orchestra at the end of the movie. He played a few of those songs through Guardians of the Galaxy. So I feel like that is a reference to Boogie
Boogie
Nights, the
Nights,
awesome
yeah.
mixtapes.
I'm gonna say you're right. Has to be.
Feels like it is.
Not everybody had awesome mixtapes.
Yeah, only Alfred Molina's.
Yeah, it wasn't everybody. Clearly, yeah. I guess we should bring up too that Paul Thomas Anderson also like. Well, this timeline doesn't really work out all that well, but he was working on Eyes Wide Shut, and he was working with Kubrick and seeing how Kubrick was directing. And I don't think that he ripped off Kubrick in really any ways. He's his own person. But there's something about his movies where Paul Thomas Anderson, where he seems to be, he loves to mess with the pacing and change the pacing. And like you brought up, after the second half, how choppy the editing becomes. And it really does match the tone of the movie. But also he's not afraid to be like, hey, I'm interested in what this conversation is, and I don't care if this conversation's 7 minutes long. Like we're gonna focus on this, and this one might only be like a second long. Where and then he even gets to do more fun shit when he gets to do the trailers or the opening scene for the pornos that they're doing. Yeah, like you said, the ones that look like the sabotage ones.
Yeah,
And I mean, even that's great where it's like, this is Jack Horner's masterpiece, are these the Magnum PI kind of ripoff things, even though their first goal was to be James Bond, but they
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 say
don't have.
James Bond level. Yeah,
Yeah, they don't have
I don't have the
the
budget for
James
that.
Bond money. But yeah, the showing them with the nunchucks and the gun, and then like even him when he's telling the editor slash cameraman, he's like, you gotta lose that shot with him with the gun. Just doesn't look right. And we'll cut this in and it'll be perfect. And I think we do go as far to see that there's like, I mean, obviously they're very successful in the beginning because he keeps winning they keep winning their awards. But I think they go as far as like at least 7, if not more.
But yeah,
And that's kind of like the downfall era. And then you get the new Dirk Diggler where it's like, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's like, who the hell is this? It's like he's the new you. He's the young person that's going to replace you.
but yeah. But you do see the difference in like when they're at the point where they're like doing stuff on videotape, and he goes to that editor and he's like, "How is it?" And the guy just goes, "It is what it is." Like it's not as good as what we were doing before. This is all I can work with.
Yeah, and then when you did like Dirk's first scene and he doesn't give them the money shot that they want, and they immediately start talking about like inserts, like we could go back into the archives and get some inserts, and Jack Warner's like, it won't match. Like, it's art. This is
They'll
art,
know.
and the audience will know, and we can't do that to the audience. And then, yeah, and then he's obviously a team player because he's like, I'll do it again, whatever you want. Let's, I'll take care of this for you. I do also like too when he's gets home from the being a dishwasher or whatever at the club, and he's like practicing his like kung fu in the mirror, and then that ends up being when he's his character, the James Bond type character, he incorporates the kung fu stuff into like his scenes. I mean, hey, it even ends with it technically ends with him doing his kung fu. He loves kung fu.
The end's great. Pretty much after the party, or after they show up at Alfred Molina's house, and he goes back to Jack and is like, apologizes, and then that's when we finally get all the characters come back together, and he finally does like another one long take going through the house. But I do love showing like everybody kind of gets their happy ending, sort of. You get Don Cheadle's got his stereo business, which he ditches the cowboy suit. He does like a hip hop video, just like him finally being like, okay, I know what sells.
When that moment where he's dressed like Rick James and just looks so depressed that
has the
it's like
the wig on.
Yeah, this is my new look.
Yeah, well, does not like it. He wishes he was back in the cowboy suit.
Yeah, and he gets his money from that like robbery gone bad that he wasn't even a part of. He was just trying to get some donuts. And yeah, there's like a hold up scene. It's like one of those. It's just one of those intense scenes that there's no way that this is gonna go well, but it does kind of go well for Don Cheadle's character. Like everybody in there like blows everybody away. He's covered in blood, and he's looking at this donut. I don't even know how much money could possibly be. I don't really realistically see how he could open up his record shop from that money, but I mean, he did tell him to go in the safe. He's like, go get in that donut safe. That, the guy that was coming to rob the place.
I love too we get that shot of the painting of Little Bill that his wife does. That like her paintings are funny because like who it's supposed to be, but they're not like great. Like they do have like a weird, almost like warped quality to them. Like you can recognize who it's supposed to be, but I wouldn't say it's like a photorealistic interpretation of that person.
They kind of do have those like Wes Anderson, the Wes Anderson art. Yeah, when you first see Dirk's and it like the face doesn't look any fucking thing like him. It's just
like kind of shrunken. It's like, but you can vaguely tell that's who it's supposed to be. Like
it's the same hair. That's about it.
Yeah. Little Bill's is like his eyes look too far apart, but he has a mustache, so you're like, oh, I know it's Little Bill because he's the character that had a mustache in the movie, so I know that's who it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and he has a great mullet, and he is all extremely serious in this movie. I mean, I guess there aren't a lot of characters that play their roles goofy. Even like Roller Girl, who's like, I will have rollerblades on the entire fucking movie, doesn't really play the scenes weird. Like there's nothing. They're all played like pretty real people with real reactions. And yeah, and you know what? Even and this kind of also like when he runs out of his fuel makes me think of Licorice Pizza. There's a lot of like he goes back to some of these ideas. He must have ran out of gas one night in California, and he must have a waterbed story. Like there's something else going on here that he wants to keep revisiting it. But I don't think they go back. Do they ever go back to his parents or his family?
No.
Yeah, they're pretty much out of the story the minute they kick him out of the house. I mean, he was not big enough of a loser to be. He made it to some degree for a little while there. And I feel like when you get to the end of the movie and he went back to Jack Horner I feel like the idea it's like the end of Mad Men or something where it's like this is going to be this is like the big comeback. At least that's what the characters are feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like Jack Horner and Dirk are like this is even though I'm pretty sure he's playing the same character, so it's probably like, the part 20, they're like, yeah, this is it. This is the masterpiece right here. That other guy, the younger guy, didn't work out for them. It's really not what you'd expect, I think, from going into the movie. It does have the 70s vibe. It is the porn industry, but it kind of plays most scenes the complete opposite way of, I think, how you would expect them to go. And brings a lot of like humility to the characters. I think that's why people were so excited with Paul Thomas Anderson, at least with this movie. And then the next couple movies, he gets very serious. But he's always interested in something thematically. He's really good with characters, but it's always like I think of something like The Master, where it's like he's focused on that like cult aspect of the Scientology. And he does have really good there are really great characters in that movie, but like he's obsessed with this idea. And I think that's what is the best aspect of him. It's like, what thing is he obsessed with that he's going to bring to the next movie? Because you get weird shit like Phantom Thread, and it's like, it's not really about a costumer or a costume designer. It's about something much darker. And I think, too, he's so I want to say he's unserious. I think he's a good director because he knows what he wants. He seems to be able to get those performances. He doesn't seem to really disrespect anything either. Like you never catch him talking poorly about another movie. There's that infamous story where he was in an NYU class, and it was like a screenwriting class where the teacher was like, we're not gonna, I'm paraphrasing here. We're going to be writing good movies, nothing like Terminator 2. And he basically was like, I fucking love Terminator 2. And he left the class because he's like, fuck that. Like, what if there's people out there that want to make there's nothing wrong with wanting to make Terminator 2. And I don't know.
He does have I feel like he just has a good eye for, I don't know, just making everything work together. He's very much, I know he gets compared to Tarantino a lot, but I would say at least like the biggest difference with the two of them is I think he does pull a lot of references from those old 70 movies, but he's not as blatant or flat out. Like Tarantino, you can see like shot for shot, line for line that like he saw a movie and was like, that was great, I'm putting that in my movie. Like, and Paul Thomas Anderson saw the same movies from that time period growing up, but takes it as he incorporates it, I guess, like I said, in a much more subtle way that, they've seen the exact same B movies and grindhouse movies, but he's like, no, I'll work that into like my own, I'm going to reframe it completely differently.
Yeah. And that's like the magic of, Tarantino is completely different, where like he does have that ability to remix things. And I feel like most people they eat it up. They love it. And when people hate him, I totally understand that too, because you're like, this is a blatant ripoff of this, and this, and this. Especially like, I think a Kill Bill, like that's the most like blatantly ripped off. I think like almost every shot's seems like it's from something. All the music choices are from something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do definitely see it. I see him more as a remix guy. It's just sort of his idea is like, all this stuff's cool and I'm going to put it into my movies. And then I think it's just the way that his brain thinks about what's going on. You get some really good character dialogue. And then Paul Thomas Anderson's thing, yeah, he does the same referencing stuff, but maybe his is more subtle because he doesn't necessarily, like, maybe he's pulling it out of childhood or something like that. But he definitely has that Jack Horner eye. He's really, really, really good with non-actors. When he has non-actors in his movies, which they don't usually have huge parts, except for, probably maybe Licorice Pizza. He pulls some really, really good performances out of them. And I mean, Tarantino could do that too. Like, I feel like his stuff with like Christoph Waltz. I like Christoph Waltz, but his best movies are his Tarantino ones. He doesn't really seem to to nail that character exactly like he does in those movies. They work so well together. Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson's like repeat actors for the most part. I mean, I think Philip Seymour Hoffman would be fucking in everything if he was still alive.
Yeah.
Even if it was just like little cameos and stuff like that. But for the most part, he does seem to be trying new characters and new people. It's wild to think if you see this movie and then to know that he's going to be working with Daniel Day-Lewis. He does 2 Daniel Day-Lewis movies, and the tone of it is like wildly different. They're both different from each other, but wildly different from this. So like he does kind of have that. I feel like it's something that the Coens do well, where he has that ability to switch up his genres and tonally make things feel different, as opposed to like just because you brought him up, Tarantino, where a lot of his stuff blatantly feels like this is the same person, or like a Hitchcock thing. Like this is definitely the same person from movie to movie. But if you showed me Boogie Nights and you showed me There'll Be Blood, I would probably not think those are the same people at all. Yeah, and the more I think about it too, I think like something with There'll Be Blood really I think I like that movie more and more every time I watch it, just because I don't know the runtime for it, 2 hours or something like that. He doesn't waste
I
a
think
second.
they're like all 2.5 hours.
He
I know that
doesn't
he's made. I think the only movie that's short is Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, or maybe like Hard 8 or something, like one of his early
Yeah,
ones.
the first one, yeah.
But no, I was thinking of like There Will Be Blood. Like I think whenever we were discussing it years ago, I don't even think it was this podcast. It was the old podcast. When you break it down, like every scene was important to the story. Every single moment was important to the story. It all fed into the character and fed into the plot. And I'm not saying that he wastes time, but like how this is like, this one's maybe more hidden because it kind of has that hangout movie aspect. I guess if you're in the 70s, you have a hangout movie. Like it has to be a hangout movie.
Like this feels like you need all those. Like because I don't think anything's wasted in this movie either. But even the small scenes that feel like they could be throwaway or you could cut them out or something, I think still just keep adding value. Again, like having the party scenes where not a lot of it's even really related to the plot, but it makes the characters feel more real. You've always got like I said, John C. Reilly's character Reed's always doing magic tricks. So you see that throughout the movie. He keeps doing that. You get to the other things like the woman doing her painting. It's like they're just like real small details that just make the characters feel more real. Like you know what they do outside of the porn industry. Like this isn't the only thing they think about. Like that girl likes painting. Buck likes stereo systems, and he's into like that kind of thing. He seems to be obsessed with. He's like, you gotta have the package, man. You gotta have the upgrade. This isn't gonna sound loud enough if you don't get the upgrade package, man. Like he's got to keep doing that. One of my favorite moments too. It's another Step Brothers moment when John C. Reilly, Scotty and Dirk Diggler, they all go to the fashion store and they all buy like matching silk shirts, like silk Western shirts, and they all get matching ones, and they're all at the club together, all dressed in their matching shirts.
Oh, I even had like a little bit of Tim Robinson with his shirt where he's like, "Oh, it's this Italian designer, and he has these unique patterns that he makes."
Yeah, it's a great, but it's another great moment. Like they're just friends. They're like, yeah, we all got matching shirts. Don't we look cool?
I think that kind of shows that they were the best of friends, right?
Yeah, it's like they do have like the kind of like joking thing of like Philip Seymour Hoffman's shirt doesn't fit as well. Like they don't make shirts in larger sizes for him. He's like his shirt's like real tight, but he's like, but I gotta get it because it matches theirs.
Yeah, his pants that don't fit, like he can't button his pants. And
they don't really fit as well. But he's like, but they're my best friends. I gotta have the matching outfit like they do. So he gets it anyway, even though it doesn't really fit him. Yeah, it's stuff like that he throws in the movie that again, yeah, you could say like, oh, that's that you could have cut that. Like it doesn't have to be there, but it just makes the characters feel just like more like real people.
Well, I would say I think thinking more of it, I think the thing where like the reason There Will Be Blood feels tighter is it's essentially the story of one character, and it's really following one character around like almost viciously. Like you don't really get, I don't think you get much time where he's not there. Like if you think he's not going to be there, he shows up. So like if it's a sermon, you're like, oh, we're on the, oh shit, there he's there. He's there. Now he's there. He's watching. He's involved. And I think this is that, not that things aren't important. I feel like all the smaller things are important, like you said, to show that the characters have this life outside of their quote unquote jobs, their careers. And I think that's really what you got to do too. If you're a filmmaker, you got to make, obviously it's the illusion of depth. Like you have to do whatever you can to make these characters feel real. There has to be something more beyond what they're, they have to have interests and things, even if they don't tie directly like into the movie. I'd rather have a character talking about, oh, I fucking love this thing. All that scene is really doing is making you like the character. It might be the way they're telling the story. Doesn't necessarily matter what it is that they're in love with, that they're bringing up, but that ability to kind of like take a little sidestep into the character, I always appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like Paul Thomas Anderson's hasn't really done much collab. Maybe one battle after another, but it's still not as strong as this, as like an ensemble movie. That's what I meant by collab. I meant like he's focusing on way more characters in this, and for a while there, he basically has the singular character. He still kind of does, but so when you get to something like that, it's like we have like 4 main characters as opposed to 13. This is a great movie. I think it'll always hold up. I did forget some of the things. I feel like I haven't watched this movie in 10 years. So, I mean, obviously, even on the podcast here, I forgot about some of the stuff where I'm like, why the hell was Thomas Jane not leaving? And you're like, oh, he was trying to rob that guy more. I'm like, oh, yeah, damn it. That was it. That was the scene. I think it was in the moment where I'm like, why the hell is this guy just sitting? Get the hell out of there. And then he reveals his plan, and you're like, no, Thomas Jane, this is a terrible plan. Don't go through with this plan. But yeah, and then this is probably one of the last like great Burt Reynolds performances. I mean, he starts showing up in some things like Adam Sandler movies and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is his only really great one, because he kind of plays goofy characters growing. I don't want to say growing up, but decades ago, his characters weren't as personal. So check it out. We'll do more. We did There'll Be Blood. We did Punch Drunk Love. We did Licorice Pizza. That might be all of the Paul Thomas Anderson ones so far. So there's plenty more. I'm sure we'll revisit it. I'm sure we'll do one battle after another this year.
Didn't you do Inherent Vice?
I don't think we did that discussion on that one, no.
You're gonna have to double check it. I thought we did.
I feel like there's been a few times where you said like it was between something, but you didn't go for it, or you were going to go for it. I don't think we did it. I think you wanted to do it though. So see, we'll do it, I'm sure. Maybe when we decide to end the podcast, we'll be like, fuck it. It's just this last year we're just cleaning up and doing all the movies that we missed along the way. But for now, we're just infinitely bullshitting forever and ever. I'm good. I'm sure there's way more shit that we could talk about, but that's the gist. That's the shit I was excited about Boogie Nights for. You have anything else? Nothing. All right, then. Everybody, thank you for listening, as usual. We really appreciate it. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Chuck's Pick. Stay tuned.
We're Cinema D'Amore. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with news and information on upcoming episodes. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, Music, Audible, Pandora, Alexa, or iHeartRadio. It would be greatly appreciated if you subscribe to our podcast on your platform of choice. We also appreciate feedback, so rate us, review us, and let us know what you think. And above all else, thank you for listening.